Okay, Kipster. So looking at this first example, we are combining all of our knowledge that we have learned through Unit 2, and we're combining it to solve division of fraction problems with mixed numbers. So now we know in order to use an algorithm and then eventually a model. So this one says evaluate each expression using the algorithm and prove your quotient is correct using a model. The first thing we need to do is evaluate this expression. When we say we're using the algorithm, we know we're going to eventually do keep, change, flip. So I notice that my dividend is a mixed number. So the first thing I need to do is make it mad. So I multiply the denominator by the whole number out front. 4 times 2 is 8. And then I add my numerator. So 8 plus 2 is 10. And I keep my same denominator. Now I have my my divisor, which is 3/4. I don't need to do anything with that. So I have 3/4 as my divisor. And then to solve, I'm going to do keep, change, flip. So I have 10/4, changing the operation of multiplication, and then flipping my second fraction. I'm able to cross simplify or cross cancel. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So now I just multiply straight across. 10 times 1 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm not going to leave my quotient as a fraction greater than 1. So I'm going to divide my numerator by my denominator. 10 divided by 3 is 3, with 1/3 left over. So I know that my quotient is 3 1/3. And now I'm going to use a tape diagram to prove that my answer is correct. So just like what we did at the beginning of this unit, I need to start off with a tape diagram. My tape diagram starts off with one hole. Maybe I'll make it a little smaller. One hole. And then I ask myself, how many pieces am I cutting that one hole into? I look at my denominator. So I know I'm going to cut this into fourths. But then I know in order to represent my dividend, I'm going to have to shade the amount of my numerator. 4 boxes is not enough to show 10/4. So I'm going to draw another tape diagram. Every tape diagram has to be the same, so I'm going to split it into fourths again. That leaves me 8 boxes, still not quite enough to shade in 10 to represent my dividend. So I'm going to draw one more, cut it into fourths. Now I have enough to represent my dividend, so I'm going to shade the amount of my numerator, which is 10. So I know I'm going to shade these 4 to have 8, and then half of my last tape diagram, because that is 10. So I'm going to label this. That is my 10/4. Whoops. And now it's asking how many groups of 3/4 are within 10/4. So I know that one box represents 1/4. So I want to look for groups of 3. So I have 1, 2, 3. There's a group of 3/4. 1, 2, 3. Here is a group of 3/4. 1, 2, 3, another group of 3/4. So right now I have 3 whole groups, so my whole number 3. I have 3 whole groups of 3/4, and then I have a remainder. And remember, our remainder represents part of a group size. So I have 1 of the 3 boxes needed for an entire group. So this shows that my quotient is 1, 2, 3, and 1/3 of another group. And this matches the quotient that we found using keep, change, flip.